Back in 1986, it was Mexico's second time hosting the World Cup, and in the promotional material they use images of pre-Hispanic balls. But honestly, those images don't do justice to what lies behind what appears to be just a simple ball to play with. Especially when compared to the mediocre national soccer team we have, which somehow still manages to whip up fanaticism among our fellow countrymen in the US. There were many so-called ball games during pre-Hispanic times, even on islands and in the north and south of the continent. And of course, the best known one is the ball game played on eye-shaped cards. In Mesoamerica, as it was later called, we find these types of cards and over the place, of all sizes and purposes. They called the activity and the cards by various names, Tlashco, Poctapop, or Ulama, for example. Sure, the main component is the ball, which many claim was an Olmec invention, although that name was actually given to them by the Mexica. It's believed the Olmecs came up with the idea of making the ball out of tree resin. These balls were even offered as secret objects. Several had been found as offerings in the Mexica's Temple Mayor and in the tunnel beneath the pyramid of Quetzalcoatl in Teotihuacan. And okay, let's bust some myths. Even Mr. Beast, in all his brilliance, once said in a video that players were sacrificed in these games. But let's be real, no one has proven that. If the argument is based on carvings of players with their heads cut off, or on the myth of Hunahpu and Ispalanque, where one of them allegedly gets beheaded, that's still not solid proof. If we took that kind of logic at face value, then today's churches would also be places of murder, because they had crucified figures everywhere. Or we'd say they practice cannibalism in mass, because they claim to eat and drink Christ's body and blood. So let's leave those beliefs aside. The ball symbolizes movement. In fact, some say Ulama comes from the Nahuatl word Olin, which means movement. But movement of what? Of many things, as you'll see now. The activity involving the ball represented the struggle of opposites, dualities, war, agriculture, and peace. In classic Tlashco, the ball symbolized the sun's movement, and even the rings represent cosmic motion. Some believe that getting the ball through the rings symbolized solar eclipses. Others think the cores themselves were astronomical observatories used to track celestial movements. It's also thought that the ball game had divinatory aspects, like when Moctezuma Xocoyotzin played against the son of Nezahualcóyotl, Nezahualpili, and losing the match was seen as an omen that Moctezuma's reign was ending. We also find balls and ball games in other regions. One that's gaining more recognition today in the Purépecha ball game. It's believed to be just as ancient as Ulama, but it's played with sticks, kind of like modern hockeys, and doesn't have rings. But again, it wasn't just about whacking a ball around. The Purépecha and likely cultures even older than them built special courts, different from the classic A-shaped ones. They form rectangular fields with two teams trying to get the ball from one end to the other. Interestingly, this version was said to be played with a lit ball, representing the sun or a comet crossing the sky. Moving the ball from one goal to another symbolized the sun's journey across the sky during the day. But again, there was way more going on behind what seemed like just a game. For example, it's believed these games were played during specific times of the year, tied to agriculture cycles, aiming to encourage good harvests. These were also warrior training exercises, simulating combat to improve technique. Some believes the games were used to peacefully resolve conflicts between different groups, replacing warfare with a sport. And in some cases the cards weren't small. They could span from one town to another. People would play for hours or even days to get the ball to the opposite town. These were like non-violent conquests. Despite colonization, many of these ball games still survive today. For instance, the Raramuri have their own versions for both men and women. Like the Purepecha, whose cards could stretch for kilometers, the Raramuri also play over long distances. The men's version is called Carrera de Bola, and the ball, Comacali, is made from oak, ash, madron, or juniper. The game can be played one-on-one or in teams. They kick the ball barefoot, and the winner is the one who gets it across the finish line. There are rituals beforehand, and even betting. The race has difficulty levels and can stretch over 200 kilometers, lasting hours or days. The players chase the ball through mountains, rivers, fields, etc. until they reach the end. The women's version uses a hoop instead of a ball. They chase it, catch it, and toss it again using a stick. Symbolically, this tradition suggests that the movement of the ball was meant to magically influence the sun's path. In Ecuador, there was a ball made from animal hide, hit with sticks originally used for farming. Among the Native American tribes like the Sioux, they use netted rackets or sticks with small pouches to catch and launch the ball. Across the continent and even on islands, there are records of ball games involving different types of sticks. For example, there's a depiction in Teotihuacan of several people using sticks to hit balls. Sure, we don't know the exact rules or meanings of most of these games today, but it was never just about scoring points or hitting a ball. In fact, many of these activities were banned by the Spanish, because as collective events they had the potential to spark rebellion. So no, it was never just a ball. Each of these games involves celestial movements, religious practices, warrior training, conflict resolution, and rituals asking favor from nature. Activities that have absolutely nothing to do with today's green rats.